Hey everybody, my name is Tommy, and this is my channel, Counting on the Big Sleep. Same introduction I do every day. Counting the days down until the end is there. Never know when you're gonna go. Go in the next 10 seconds, 10 months, 10 weeks, 10 years. You never know. You never know when your last day is gonna be. So sitting at the woods here, over by the lake. Show you a little picture. Looking at another beautiful, gorgeous day. Did have some food poisoning last night. Was not feeling very well at all last night. But got up this morning feeling like crap, and I figured I might as well get out and get some sunlight. If I'm gonna feel like crap, at least be outside. Enjoy the sunlight and the warmth. Hate the cold. Hate the cold. I would love the warmth. Oh, well, what should we talk about today? A lot of news on the internet about Trump posing as Jesus. It is so hilarious. When Trump first ran for president, I got a big kick out of it. He was the Don Rickles of presidency for 4 years, way back in what was it, 2020 or something like that. But he was the Don Rickles of, and he was hilarious. He didn't get much done, but he was hilarious. He doesn't get much done now, but he's hilarious. But the way he's governed now, he's more of the military-industrial complex type guy. For a guy who says he wants to end all wars, he certainly has started some. For the guy who said he wanted to bring down taxes and gas prices and food prices, well, they certainly have shot up. So, I can really say is, fuck Donald Trump, man, he sucks. And I'm not saying Kamala Harris would have been any better. She sucked too. Democrats should have had a primary, let somebody pick, and give them a good run. Now this next election, Trump's not going to run for a third term. It'll probably be J.D. Vance. Democrats are looking at Gavin Newsom, which does not thrill a lot of people at all. So I have no clue who would win that race. I personally am not voting. I have not voted in a couple of years. I have no interest in voting. I disdain all types of government. All they do is suppress the people and create laws for us, which then themselves break. They do what they want. We're the ones that suffer. So, if you want to mess around with Iran, you want to get into a bigger war, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to just launch the nukes and destroy a third of the world and start all over. But I can guarantee, I can't guarantee it, but I can probably say 99% that after the bombs are dropped, after the smoke is cleared, after you see all the death tolls, Jesus will not be returning. He will not be returning in a physical form, as they say. We are going to have to dig ourselves out of this hole some way, a new generation, a new way of living. Got some wind blowing up here. Nice breeze. Beautiful day. So enjoy every day you can, because you never know when it's going to be your last. Got several things thinking about. There's the one problem I have. If I don't leap into something, if I don't jump off a cliff right away and not think about it, I hesitate. And when I hesitate, I change my mind, and it makes me scared. I would rather leap before I look than have to think about the consequences. Because either road you take, there's a consequence. It could be bad, it could be good. You don't know. You really don't know. You don't. So, you might as well enjoy the time you have left, because you don't know what's going to happen after you die. A lot of people say you go someplace. I personally, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea where you go or what happens in life after you're dead. If you're reincarnated, if you're, if you go to some kind of heaven or a hell, or if you go to a purgatory. Religion's all been created by man. If God really wanted us to know what goes on, he would come down and say, hey, this is the way it is. And you got to ask yourself a lot of questions too about the world, about evolution and stuff. People have souls. Well, what about Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthal man? Early types of human beings, do they have souls too? Because they were here before us. Are they the first ones that God created? And what is God? God is something that is out of time and space. Well, if you ask a priest or a religious person, where did God come from? His first answer would be, you're asking the wrong questions. I'm asking the wrong questions? I never thought there was any wrong questions. I didn't think there was any wrong questions. So, as for religion goes, I'm kind of backing away from it all. I don't know. I mean, to me, Jesus was a real person. I think the miracles were exaggerated. I think he's a holy man and a good moral and spiritual teacher. I think his body was buried. I don't believe in the resurrection. I just don't. There's so many different passages that they left out of the Bible. I mean, who decided what was going in? If you go to, because you got to remember, he grew up in a time, one of the nations, like the African part of the world, Arab part of the world, all that over there. So, his skin was probably a darker color, was not white, probably brownish, maybe darkish. Who knows? He looked like the people at that time. We look differently. The passage, God loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Which I never understood that. Why? Why would God need to do that? The same thing with, people killing each other. How can killing be such a great sin when God does it himself? When he wipes out all the people, from Noah, from Sodom and Gomorrah, how can murder be a sin when God himself does that? According to the Bible, if you believe that stuff. Personally, I do not believe a lot of those stories. I do not believe that, Moses parted the Red Sea. I think the laws of nature just do not suspend themselves like that. History does not show that we had a great flood. But, like I said, I have no idea what happens when you die. But, as long as you're here, and we're here from a great deal of circumstances from the beginning all the way here, just try to enjoy your life, have many better times than bad times. Because you will have both. You will have bad times and you will have good times. Try to emphasize on more of the good times than the bad times. You know, that's why I like coming here. I like coming here and enjoying this little spot, the lake, the breeze, the trees, the sky, the warmth. If I could, I would move somewhere nice. I would like to move to Arizona, but Arizona's run more like a Republican state. I feel bad for a lot of people in Arizona because there's a lot of homeless people there. And all them homeless people, if they're not working, they can't even get a food stamp card. Now, who's going to hire a homeless guy who's sleeping in a tent or behind an alley to come to work every day? Come on. There has to be a better system than we're doing now. Much better system. Like my mother always said, money rolls uphill, shit rolls down. So, you don't get rich by climbing a ladder. You get rich by owning the ladder. If you choose to be rich. But just because you're rich doesn't mean you're going to be happy. But I can tell you one thing. Poverty doesn't bring happiness either. That's for sure. And working 40 hours a week sometimes really takes its toll on a human body, especially when you get older. They don't teach you that stuff in school. They should teach you more like economics and how to balance your checkbook, how to create wealth, and plus science and history. But let's face it, history, we do not learn from history. We repeat history all the time. We repeat it. We don't learn from it. We repeat it. Look at the world the way it is now. We're on the brink of World War III. I think we still got a long way to go, but we are on the brink, and probably been on the brink for a long time. I personally do not like to mess with the Muslims out there, because those people never quit. They don't. They don't quit. They will fight you for 1,000,000 years. And my God, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Could the world thrive without religion? I believe it could. I believe it could. I think the bridge between religion and science are closer than you think. I think someday we will figure more of this stuff out, how the universe was created, how old it is. Does it expand? Does it contract to a singularity and then expand again? Has this whole system gone on for trillions and trillions of years? I have no idea. We could have, this could be like the third or fourth time we've been here. Who knows? And for parallel universes, I have a hard time believing in that one, because it's saying to me that everything, every decision you make, you would make the opposite decision in the other parallel universe, and there's so many different varieties where there may be, parallel universes that you don't even exist in, or some that you're a president, or some that you're a doctor, or some that you're just a homeless guy. Who knows? And it all could be a simulation too. I do believe there are people out there. The galaxy is far, far big, and there's probably beings much, much older than us and do things very, very differently. So, I'm a bit of a skeptic on everything. A bit of a skeptic. But a beautiful day. So let's try not to think about too many problems. Let's just enjoy the time we just enjoy a beautiful day. I don't see any ducks out there. They were out there earlier. A few birds I've seen. Some squirrels. Got a guy fishing over here. Don't know if you need a fishing license to fish over here. I don't think you can go swimming here either. I don't know. Oh. But that's all I got really for you today. I just wanted to show you that it's a beautiful day. Even though I was sick as a dog last night, I had to get out of the house. I had to get some fresh air. No matter how bad I feel, I need that sunlight on me. I need to feel the fresh air. I can't be locked up in a bedroom all the time. So, everybody, enjoy your day. I hope it's a good day. I hope you have more good days than bad days. And just remember, we're all on the same boat. We're all on the same planet. We're all going to die eventually, some sooner than others. What happens after that, I have no clue. You can have faith and believe whatever you want, as long as you're not imposing it on others. But what happens when you die, I have no idea. I have no idea. I think it'll be okay because it's been happening since the beginning of time. So, and I imagine there's going to be a lot more people dying eventually here. Alright, everybody. Don't forget to stay positive, enjoy your life, and take time to smell the roses and enjoy nature and clear your mind. Alright, everybody. Love you all. Take care.